अगर इंडिया को अपना $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी जो बोल रहे हैं और रीच करना है तो आई थिंक रूरल तो टैप करना ही होगा. इट्स इन लाइन टू द mission of our Prime Minister and the India's growth story as well.
Yes, yes, certainly. Because this rural market has a tremendous potential, and to drive this vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Vikasit Bharat 2047. So it is very rural market would play an integral role in this vision.
और रूरल का जो कंजम्पशन ग्रोथ स्टोरी है, इट इज इंक्रीज बाय 9.2%.
Yes.
People are consuming more,
Yeah.
and then the urban areas,
Yes.
which is only 8.3.
Yeah.
मतलब consumption patterns are increasing in that 64% of the audience who is sitting inside अपना गांव खलियार of the world.
Exactly.
This is so crazy. This is so
Yes,
crazy. तो
yes.
क्या कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं वो लोग? What are they consuming?
So you know they also have a equal aspirations like urban. So they are also tech savvy.
बट मुझे जितना समझ आ रहा है, मुझे तो नहीं जाना है गांव में, जाके नहीं रहना है, क्योंकि हम छोटे थे, गांव से सिटी में आए, सिटी से भी शहर में और बड़े शहर में और बड़े शहर में, बॉम्बे पहुंच गए. बॉम्बे इज लाइक सिटी ऑफ ड्रीम्स. एंड नाउ आफ्टर डूइंग दिस कोर्स वुड आई गेट अ जॉब अगेन इन गांव? यू गोना पुश मी बैक टू पंजाब और उड़ीसा और वेस्ट बंगाल और सम ऑफ दोस एरियाज? कैसी जॉब कैसे मिलती है लोगों को? Hi everyone, welcome on board. 64% of Indian population is sitting inside the rural side of India, who are contributing to India in a big way, and mainly it's an agriculture economy. But कुछ लोग इस story को उल्टा कर रहे हैं, including one of them is our ma'am. Hi Rachna ma'am, welcome on board.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am is the program in charge of rural management. Ma'am has been there, done that 14 plus years since the inception of this program at rural management of Wellington Business School. She's a PhD in economics from Nagpur University. Ma'am ने thesis लिखे हुए हैं, and also she has been consultant with many of the international and national boards as well. Ma'am is on editorial board of International Journal of Agriculture Economics of UX as well. Ma'am, really humbled to have you on board, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in. Ma'am, please explain us ये क्या scene है? People ask me this question, sir, rural management करना चाहिए, नहीं करना चाहिए? Some people have got that background, little bit of agribusiness and stuff, and some people are engineers and they want to do it as well. But do you think the growth is in the rural segment right now?
Okay, so yes, it is, and as you rightly mentioned, more than 60% population resides in rural. So it is not just 65% population, but it's a 65% market lies in the bottom of pyramid. And if any country or any company would like to take the company to the next level, they can't afford to miss out this population. And you know, this rural market is very complex in terms of geography, in terms of social, in terms of economics. So it is very important to understand the holistic, the person should have a holistic understanding of the rural market. And I'll tell you one small example that how we differentiate the rural management students and other. So for example, if you have to plan a sales strategy for the rural market, so if other candidates have to do that, so he may use his other perspective, but how differently rural management will do when the demand can be generated for the product. So he has to understand the cropping pattern of that local geography, because farmer being a key stakeholder of the rural area, so when he has a disposable income in his hand, then only the demand can be created. So he has to understand the cropping pattern, and when the crop gets harvested, then that's the apt time to introduce your product. Then only the demand can be generated. But this only rural management students can do that, because we are giving them exposure to the rural economy, how agriculture works, agriculture economics works, then the rural development, and from the business perspective.
Understood.
Rural consumer behavior. So
is it different from agri-business management? Because I am Ahmedabad का एक बहुत ही famous course है, agri-business management, and after that I think many of other B schools have also studied. IRMA is also doing very good, and आप भी around मैम कितने साल से आप लोग कर रहे हो ये course?
So we started in 2012.
2012.
And we have been getting very good response nationally, internationally since the inception of rural management.
Brilliant, ma'am. Brilliant, ma'am. There was a report by Week which says the consumer durable industry is expected to drive 20% of its sales from the rural areas. और रूरल का जो कंजम्पशन ग्रोथ स्टोरी है, इट इज इंक्रीज बाय 9.2%. People are consuming more, and then the urban areas, which is only 8.3. मतलब consumption patterns are increasing in that 64% of the audience who is sitting inside अपना गांव खलियार of the world.
Exactly.
This is so crazy. This is so crazy. तो क्या कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं वो लोग? What are they consuming?
So you know, they also have a equal aspirations like urban. So they are also tech savvy, and what we have to do, they just need a bit push, a bit direction. Then of course the next leap of market would come from the rural sector. and that's the reason all the companies, big companies, are focusing on to tap this untapped market.
एक्सीलेंट मैम, एक्सीलेंट. अगर इंडिया को अपना $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी जो बोल रहे हैं और रीच करना है, तो आई थिंक रूरल तो टैप करना ही होगा. इट्स इन लाइन टू द mission of our Prime Minister and the India's growth story as well.
Yes, yes, certainly. Because this rural market has a tremendous potential, and to drive this vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Vikasit Bharat 2047. So it is rural market would play an integral role in this vision. And but to manage this, there should be a people who understand the basic principles of management. But yes, the rural realities are also needs to be there.
Awesome. But I have a question, ma'am. Do you think there are some inefficiencies in the rural ecosystem? Is it inefficiencies in agriculture, inefficiencies in jobs? Because 64% of the people contribute to nearly 18 to 20% of the GDP. Or is it the per capita income is low because the output is low, like wheat ka price is lower as compared to a guy who's sitting in Bombay and doing an IT work or a financial capital services में कोई काम कर रहा होगा. What's the take there?
So actually, rural is an agriculture driven economy, and this is a live business. Agriculture is a live business, and nature plays havoc with the farmer. So एक दिन आप दिखेंगे कि बहुत अच्छी फसल है, but next time some rainfall comes or some drought happens, and then the crop is nowhere. So in that case, since it's a live business, so these challenges are exist. And another challenge of Indian agriculture is the land is fragmented. So if you see the developed country, agriculture is considered to be a very prestigious occupation there compared to India. But India, because of the fragmented land, they can't go for the mechanization. They can't use the technology the way they should supposed to use because of the fragmented land. Because it should be cost effective as well. It is not cost effective for the farmers.
Understood. गुड, मे बी आपकी मदद लगी. मैम, रूरल MBA में कौन से रोल्स मिल सकते हैं अगर कोई बंदा वी स्कूल ज्वाइन करता है या एक एग्री बिजनेस में आया, अहमदाबाद में भी जा रहा है, वो बताइएगा हाउ एग्री बिजनेस इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम रूरल.
Okay, so see, eventually agribusiness management and rural management. So management principles are there. Agriculture, agribusiness में क्या है कि we are giving lot of emphasis on the only agri-specific economy or agri-based courses. But here we are catering the need of other sectors as well. So for us, rural means it's not just the interior part of the rural, but tier 3, tier 4 cities wherein consumer behavior is different. And they are very cost sensitive markets. So we are catering that part of market as well, tier 3, tier 3. And agri business means just a rural part of interior part of rural India. So that's a major difference we can say.
Got
but
it.
yes, we do have a subset of agri business in our rural management program. We do
Achha,
have
it's
a
subset,
courses
okay.
as well.
So rural is a bigger name
It's
than
a bigger umbrella, and in that agriculture is
brilliant.
one of
Got
the
it. मैम, बट मुझे जितना समझ आ रहा है, मुझे तो नहीं जाना है गांव में, जाके नहीं रहना है, क्योंकि हम छोटे थे, गांव से सिटी में आए, सिटी से भी शहर में और बड़े शहर में और बड़े शहर में, बॉम्बे पहुंच गए. बॉम्बे इज लाइक सिटी ऑफ ड्रीम्स. एंड नाउ आफ्टर डूइंग दिस कोर्स वुड आई गेट अ जॉब अगेन इन गांव? यू गोना पुश मी बैक टू पंजाब और उड़ीसा और वेस्ट बंगाल और सम ऑफ दोस एरियाज? कैसी जॉब कैसे मिलती है लोगों को?
So here, after completing rural management program, this is a most important thing that I think the students should also know. After completing this program, they are premium for the rural knowledge that they are having. It is not necessary that they have to go and stay into the rural area. They may sit in Mumbai, like Mumbai, Pune or any metro city, but they can design the strategy for the rural area. But to develop that strategy, they should have an understanding about the rural market. And that is the reason the experiential based learning model that we have in the program, which we got recognition from the Ministry of Human Resource Development as the best innovative pedagogy as well.
Nice.
So wherein students go, stay into the rural area, they have to interact with the various stakeholders, have to explore various rural demographics, dynamics, because without understanding that, how you will design the strategy? Once you become a manager, that time you can do that, but first of all you should have that understanding.
Brilliant, ma'am. That's lovely. Ma'am, now everything is becoming tech. AI आ गया है. You know, there's machine learning models, blockchain is there, crypto is there, you know. Rural management में technology is playing some part.
Yes.
And is it changing? Is it transforming?
Yes, actually technology plays a very important role. It plays a role of a catalyst in not only in the rural program but in entire rural economy, I would say. And if you see that more than approx 95.15% internet penetration is there in 95% villages. And because of the smartphone, they are also using smartphone like anything. I'll share with you one example, the recent example. I've been to rural area. There was a 66 years old lady who was selling some stationeries in a weekly market, and she was putting up the orders online. How she was doing that? So she put on her WhatsApp camera और फिर उसको दिखा रही थी कि वेंडर को कि दिस इज द मटेरियल आई हैव इट, सो आई वांट मोर ऑर्डर्स ऑन दिस, आई वांट दिस, आई डोंट वांट दैट. सो इवन दो दे नो हाउ एप्टली टेक्नोलॉजी कैन बी यूज्ड with the given constraints whatever they are having. So important thing is that they are also utilizing the technology. Of course, again, if we talked about the agriculture part, so if we have to inculcate the part of precision farming, so drone, AI, data driven decisions, so
ये सब
farmers,
शुरू हो गए मैम?
yes, it's very much.
देखता हूँ वीडियोस वगैरह, I get
Yes.
very excited. Is it
Yes, it's
happening?
there. And means in our program, it's an integral part. Technology is an integral
Acha.
part of.
I would love to see it someday, ma'am. How drones are
Certainly.
being used for. I've seen the videos. Drones are being used for seed transfer,
Yes.
spraying of the insecticide and
Exactly.
stuff. Lovely.
Forecasting, even price forecasting can also happen. So
Yeah.
sales decisions can also be taken
Great.
based on the data and all.
I remember one of the innovations which we had, which was like a very basic innovation, which ITC was proud of, it was e-Chopal.
Yeah.
That was our case study in 2009.
Yes.
I mean, there was nothing 15 years back. Say, abhi tak we've come a long way. Though there were like information centers, kiosks, etc. But at that time, it was a very big thing where
Yes.
information can go back to the hinterlands of the village as well.
Yeah.
बहुत ही बढ़िया मैम, काफी क्रेजी है. Government of India is also investing around 51,000 odd crores in the budget for rural, which is one of the biggest in the country. It's always agriculture primarily.
Yeah.
So इससे भी हम और jobs create होंगी, आपको लगता है? All those companies like Nestle, etc., would HULs of the world, they will also start thinking about farmers or directly from farmer to consumers, removal of middlemen. ये सब चीजें होने वाली हैं भाई?
बिल्कुल होने वाली है. एंड इफ यू कैन सी द रिसेंट बजट, द बजट वाज कंप्लीटली रूरल फोकस और द एग्रीकल्चर फोकस, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट आल्सो रियलाइज दैट कि इफ द इंडियन इकोनॉमी विल फ्लरिश ओनली इफ दे फोकस्ड ऑन द रूरल इकोनॉमी, एंड ऑल दो स्टेक होल्डर प्लेज एन इंटीग्रल रोल to do that, and that's the reason entrepreneurship and this tech related things are the big thing in rural.
Awesome. कुछ बच्चे में आपके इंटरनेशनल प्लेसमेंट लगी रूरल से, मैंने सुना है.
हाँ, इंटरनेशनल प्लेसमेंट भी हो रही है बिकॉज यू नो, सो आई टेल यू दैट the program offers general management courses like marketing, finance, operations, HR, so they can cater the need of urban market. Okay, at the same time, as I mentioned, rural consumer behavior is different, so for that we have additional courses pertaining to emerging economies and rural specific courses. So for that, those companies are looking for the tier 3, tier 2 cities and the rural market, so students can cater that part of market. At the same time, we believe that students should think globally and act locally. So the global exposure we have to give them. From that perspective, we have some courses on international business, international market, and we have been working with a lot of consulate generals as well on a lot of international projects. So students are getting that exposure, and that exposure along with skill sets helps them to get placed internationally.
This is lovely, ma'am. You take interviews also a little bit here and there when the students apply to Wellinkar.
Yes.
Great. What kind of questions do you ask?
So that I cannot say.
Come on, ma'am. थोड़ा तो हमारी YouTube family को बता दो. Okay. What kind of personality traits you look into a student when you're interviewing there?
This is an interesting question, and this I really wanted to address that. We want someone who is passionate about the sector. That's the first thing. Empathetic to the people and situations. Third is the person should be ready to travel in rural area. And of course, the content knowledge, we are there to help them, but yes, a little bit content knowledge about the sector should be there.
That's it. And you're good to go. Great. Ma'am, 80 to 90% of the students who are sitting inside the classroom right now, as much as I know, are the ones who are like keen on that, rural. Yeah, around 50% plus का तो background भी rural से होगा. Right?
Yeah, so we get the mixed batch of students, and students comes from pan India. The preference are given to the, of course, BTech agriculture and the engineering students, and BSc Agri students are also welcome to the program, but graduation is the criteria. Engineers are the preferred one. Work ex candidates are also good fit for the program.
Great, and they can get global jobs as well.
Of course.
Which is crazy. So there's a general management also, there's rural management also. So I think a good mix of class, people who are keen on rural management, maybe 80% or 20% would be general management, would be decent to start with in the rural management class, right?
Yeah, sir.
100% हो जाएगा तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा नहीं हो जाएगा, मतलब in the everybody's aligned to the same goal. I think it should be mix and match of both.
It has to be, because peer learning also happens in the class. So
Very
it's always
true.
good to have a different perspective in the class. So that's the reason the students are there in the batch from Pan India. So they get
Excellent.
to know or get to learn from different states as well, how the
Lovely.
cultural differences are.
लवली मैंने अप्लाई किया रूरल मैनेजमेंट में, मेरा हो गया, ठीक है, मैंने एडमिशन ले ली और मेरी जॉब लग गई, ठीक है. आई रिमेंबर देयर वाज अ गाय कॉल्ड रुद्रा, he went to Amul, I think,
Yeah.
So and 2 years back, and then there was a girl who went to Nestle. So and last year I interviewed many people. So मैं स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ अपना करियर से, रूरल से. सीखने के बाद मुझे लगा यार अब तो शहर में जाना है. कैन आई मेक अ करियर ट्रैजेक्टरी पाथ? सॉरी, आपके गोल से अलाइन नहीं है.
No,
but
certainly it is possible. It is possible because you have all those skill sets as well as learning. So which can certainly help you to go to wherever you want to go. Whether it is the jobs related to the marketing, finance, HR. So generally after completing the program, students get job as a management training, supply chain, management training, operations, sales.
बहुत, तो कहीं भी आप जा सकते हो. दिस इज रियली अमेजिंग मैम. एनी पार्टिंग थॉट्स टू ऑल आवर स्टूडेंट्स हु आर 20-21 ईयर ओल्ड, दे आर जंपिंग द गन. कई लोग एसपीजीएन बॉम्बे जाएंगे, IIM अहमदाबाद जाएंगे, कुछ लोग आपके पास पढ़ रहे होंगे वेलिंकर के अंदर. एनी पार्टिंग थॉट्स टू ऑल ऑफ आवर लिसनर्स?
So no, just one thing I wanted to say, that the student should have clarity that what they want to achieve, and then only have a wise decisions where you want to pursue your career, because I feel that passion is the one thing which everyone should look forward to have you on board. And if you are looking to make your career into this emerging sector, this is the program for you.
That's so amazing. Boys and girls, do it the like button और मुझे कमेंट करके बताइए what's your background? Are you from agri business? Are you from any kind of B.Tech agriculture? या किसी ने अप्लाई किया है रूरल मैनेजमेंट, या कुछ क्वेश्चन तुम्हारे दिमाग के अंदर, डिस्कशन करिए. एंड दिस इज अ सेक्टर व्हिच नीड्स ग्रोथ फॉर श्योर. If India's story has to happen from now onwards, it has to be the rural story. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank
It was
you so much.
Pleasure meeting you.
Same
Take
here.
care. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the comment section.